Hey guys, salut mes amis och hallå gubbar, Maxime here. In my first video I reviewed the Logitech G433s. In this video I'll talk about my day-to-day use with them and my overall experience. Now first of all, to understand what I wanted with these headsets, I needed to have them on for a while. So I started doing general things with them like play games, go out, listen to music, buy bananas, eat more bananas. I can now reply to one of the questions that most of you guys probably want to know. Are they comfortable to wear for a longer period of time? Yes, I think they are. I mentioned this in my previous video, but they do come with a second pair of cups, or you can call them ear pads. This is just a personal preference, but I do like the material of the second pads more, but both work well indoors and outdoors. The choice is yours whether you want to use the default cloth texture pads or the replacement microfiber pads. Connecting the phone cable and removing the microphone for outside use is really convenient and easy to do. So speaking of gaming, over the past couple days I've been using Logitech's gaming software. My goal was to get the best possible sound for CSGO. First I enabled per profile equalizer and automatic microphone noise removal. I've been using my default profile together with the advanced equalizer, which by the way is fairly impressive. I like to produce music sometimes, so I know how important it is to adjust the balance between frequencies. I tried to come up with the best settings for everyday gaming use, and this is what I got. Anything between 32Hz and 250Hz is the sub bass and bass, also known as the low end. If you increase these values, you will notice how shooting with an op, for example, can easily be felt in your entire body. I chose to lower these values for obvious reasons. It's easier to focus. Anything between 500Hz and 2000Hz is pretty much the low mid or mid low end. I noticed that changing these values just makes the sound weird. For example, increasing this will make it sound like you're in a subway. If you lower it, it will sound more metallic. If you change the 1000Hz value, it will affect how warm the sound feels. The same for 2000Hz, and in the end, I prefer having these values set to 0. Now we're at the 4K, which is the mid-high section. For CSGO, I've noticed that increasing this value gives you a hissing sound, which was not that pleasing. I recommend keeping it at 0 or lower it. Now for 8K. 8K is your high end, and I believe this is the one that affects footsteps the most. Boosting it will help with the overall sound, and I've decided to boost this quite high. And lastly, 16K, which is also part of the high end. I've tried different values with this one for a long time, but basically increasing it will give you a very crisp and bright sound, which can be heard very clearly when switching to a knife, for example. In the beginning, I had this value up, but after a while, I decided to set it back to 0 as it felt more natural that way. It took me a while to get to these settings and to find a perfect balance for day-to-day use for competitive gaming. But these are the best settings in my opinion for CSGO with the G433s. Overall, the surround sound is good as it is by default, and you can test it out in the software to really hear how well it works. You don't need to mess with this. And for the record, I'm using the 3D setting in my audio options for CSGO, and that is what I believe works the best. The more I use them, the more I appreciate them. Small things like removing the microphone, changing the pads, switching out the PC cable to the phone cable, or even altering the sound frequencies is the best part about this headset. It's flexible and you can customize it to your liking. Thanks again Logitech for sending me this pair. I really enjoyed them. You will find a link to them in the video description. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to see what's happening behind the scenes of Le Banana Gaming. I'll see you guys soon and go bananas.